We're going to kick off. No apologies for absence because we're all here, so thank you very much. So approve the minutes. Anyone got any objections to the minutes that have been circulated?
No.
Fantastic. So for matters arising, all the news about HS2, and we had a previous council meeting decided to put together a committee with some of our more learned friends in the village. In view of the fact that that is now no longer necessary, then we won't be going forward with that.
Perfect.
Quick update from the chairman on action items. So since we started as a council, we had 77 action items. Currently we have 51 open. I think some of them are probably closed, but we just need to review or are no longer necessary. So I apologise for only having sent it round today, but if you could all look at it and let me know which ones you think are finished, then we can do that. Okay, declaration of interests. Anyone got any interest they would like to declare, financial or otherwise, in relation to any item on the agenda?
No.
Okay, I have one. We are going to talk about Pickmere Press, and my company, of which I have controlling interest, sponsor Pickmere Press. Public forum. Would the member of public like to say anything?
What about the workers?
All right, I'm going to take that as tacit no. But thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
Okay, so item 5, report from the police. Obviously John's not with us today. We have just come from a meeting at Wincham Community Centre where there were more police than you'd ever want to meet. So just this quick report, and I did actually have an update from the inspector during the meeting, so I'll add that into his report. So the new sergeant has started, which is good news, so we're slightly up on our numbers. We haven't yet got a PCSO. However, I've been informed by the inspector that they have now appointed a PC in place of the PCSO, which is in some ways good news and in some ways bad news, because obviously a PCSO has limited powers and a PC has more powers. So although he's happy about getting an extra body, he's a bit concerned that his body will be swapped at the earliest opportunity by anyone who wants to do a raid anywhere.
Just on that, weren't we informed a year ago that every single area would have its own PCSO, and that the funding that they had actually asked for and increased was to cover that?
Yes, and that's something that I did bring up with the Police and Crime Commissioner, and it's something that he is pushing forward, and I've had that confirmed actually by the inspector tonight. But he's pointed out that they need to get these posts filled. So September was a very busy month in Pickmere for the police. They had 29 recorded incidents. As we know, a lot of those are to do with the lake. 16 were to do with parking at the lake. John's been down and issued tickets for obstruction, as many as he can. And they also had a meeting with Cheshire East prior to the open meeting today to discuss some issues. They also managed to get the drone team down, which is something that the Police and Crime Commissioner had requested after our meeting, and I understand that the footage is horrendous of the parking and what was going on the lake.
About 700 people.
Yeah, so important information to go forward to helping us.
Is it possible to get a copy of that?
I have written to John to ask for that, but yes.
It couldn't have gone up on a better day though.
No, couldn't. It was a 9-9. Show it on the TV.
It's a police drone, isn't it?
Yeah,
It was.
I suspect we might not get the...
well, I mean,
it's worth asking.
I mean, there's no reason in law they can do this unless it's for filming a crime which is going to court. So, and I don't think it was. So other issues in our 29. One person was found in possession of Class B drugs at the lake, and that was dealt with by an out of court disposal. There was a domestic incident in the village, which is currently under investigation. there was a report of a local resident being assaulted, and that's being investigated, but unfortunately no suspect has yet to be identified. And probably more disappointing for a rural village, there's been a theft of livestock, and again, police are yet to identify the subject involved. And as always, the police have advised that if there are non-critical issues, such as bad parking, to dial 101, and if there's any risk to life or property, to dial 999. So that ends the report from the police. Any questions?
No.
So unfortunately Kate Parkinson can't be with us tonight. She just sent a report. Only 2 items on there. One is talking about green bins and her attempt to stop the charge, which has obviously been unsuccessful. And obviously she was very pleased with the result for HS2, which I think as a village we are probably equally pleased with. So that was the report from Kate. So again, at this meeting tonight we had some discussions with Cheshire East Council, so I had to feed back to Kate and maybe get her help with Cheshire East. But they seem amenable at least to chatting to us all. Okay, finances. So to note the financial position, so we have a new summary, which is very good, because that's the numbers every month.
Thank you for that.
Any questions on the monthly breakdown? To note, approve and authorise new payments.
Well, there are no new payments that you haven't already authorised, but
Okay.
under this, could I please just check that you're in agreement that Nina, who cleans the hall, that we pay her regularly on a 4-week basis, so just set it up as a standing order from the bank, and then if she's not in, I'll check and amend it as
Yeah,
appropriate.
Jack was very keen to carry on with that.
Yeah, is that okay?
Yep. Okay, so documents sent on the external audit.
Sorry, just go back. I just remembered there's one thing on the monthly summary. The £300 fishing licence, was that money that came into us?
That's in your budget, it's not come in yet, has it?
Oh, I see. Okay.
Apparently, I need to contact them and speak to them.
This is North which Anglers?
No, Selmore.
Selmore Anglers.
So my understanding is they used to pay about £600.
Yeah. They used to pay more.
Yeah, so I need to contact them. I don't know what the agreement is with them, so I need to
Well,
speak
they
to
pay and
somebody.
they use the rights and not got overnight rights on our land.
Okay. Well, I will try and get that sorted out as soon as possible, because you need to know whether that's coming in or not for future budgeting. And also, while talking about that, sorry, this is a bit of an aside, but you have a £2,000 budget in for rental income for the village hall, which you're probably not going to achieve.
Okay.
So you might have to change your receipts a little bit, or change your budgets for next year.
In terms of receipts, so I think we have had an increase in receipts, which
Oh yeah,
we should commend Lorraine for.
yeah, we've
Well done,
had, we've had a good month, and we're going to get better months, and from November needing better months.
Well, the Tai Chi, she says she still wants to go ahead with it.
That's great.
She still wants to continue with that, so I'm glad that I got her to come and do that.
That's great.
I enjoy the classes.
I was also contacted yesterday by the Puppet Theatre.
Oh, yeah.
I told you
and
about
they want to do a day. She's sending me the email. I'm going to pass it on to you.
Yeah.
But there's a day, a week, and another week, and they'd also like to do. I think they want to do a performance for the village as well.
They said that last time, didn't they?
Yeah, they just didn't. Things didn't fall right, but they want to pay. They'll have it from sort of 10 till whatever in the evening. I've told them about the Wednesday coffee morning, so she's sending me an email with her
Because there's things now
Okay.
on most days.
Yeah, so
This is good news. It's
but I'm
actually on the
going to
agenda.
pass it on to
Yeah,
Lorraine as soon as I get
okay,
it.
You'll have to do
That's
that.
brilliant.
And then I've said you'll contact her.
Yeah.
Can I throw in,
That's
so it's just coming to my head, but it's appropriate enough, about we're owed some money by the fencing company, I believe. Jack told us.
Yeah,
There's an agreement.
that's on. Well, that's one of the items that the clerk is following up with.
Okay.
So we
Yeah.
don't have to do that. I mean, just on the side, we may need to have a discussion about the free hiring of the hall as more and more paid stuff comes in, and how we get around that, because we've already turned down a significant amount of money that we could have had, and I think we've got the pavilion as well. Maybe
Could make
some of the things about
You turned it down because it was booked?
yeah,
Yes.
Right.
but not fee paying. So we need to come to some sort of arrangement on that. But anyway,
As long as we've got
Another-
enough notice, then
Another
we
meeting.
can discuss that.
Yeah, they could go to the one. They could
Anyway.
go to the pavilion.
a different meeting. I have to talk to myself about bringing things up like that. So we've had the documentation around from the external audit. Obviously, the audit report we've seen before and approved. We've got all the closure documentation, certificate, the notice that closure of the audit is finished.
Yeah, everything's gone up, so you're all legally good to go. And then the contents of the report need noting. So in terms of hiring out halls, from now on you need to make sure that everybody has an invoice, but that's something that Lorraine and I have been working on anyway. And need to put in some more checks on suppliers and payments. So I will have a look at doing that. But as long as you note it, you're aware of what they said, it's a good audit. There's nothing on there. It's been completely well run.
Yeah. Okay.
One of the points was, I know we had 4 signatories of councillors on the bank,
Which you do have now.
and
Yeah.
2 to approve
Yes.
payments.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. I know I'm not one of the 4, so I didn't know much about it, but
Yeah,
thank you.
that's all done, and obviously you need to pay their invoice now. So if that's okay, if you're all in agreement with
Yes.
that, we'll pay the
Two
invoice.
voting. Everyone happy?
Yeah.
Okay. And then the new word for this evening.
Right.
Yeah. Two via.
So
That's French, isn't it?
Is it?
It's got to be, yeah.
Right. Okay. So to move money around is what it is. So you've all had the details. So what I'm suggesting you do is that you take the money from the reserves that you have and put them into your running budget, your income-outcome budget, so that it balances, rather than the fact that it's going to be £4,500 overspent at the end of the year, because then you're going to have to take it from reserves. So if you do it now, change the budget, and then as you go to move forward, because you're going to have to set your budget next month, you're in a much better situation.
Absolutely.
So if you're okay with that, we'll do that going forward.
Thank you.
And then just in terms of the reserves, because we are going to talk about spending money, in terms of money that would be available to spend.
All your reserves are available to spend.
And does that include keeping, I think, 1 year's precept in
Yes.
reserve?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's the number that
Yes.
we can't overspend, although we have to. Does that take into account the 4,000?
That does,
Negative.
yes. Once you've done your movements, that takes the 4,000 out.
Okay. So everyone's happy with that?
Yes.
So do that.
Planning matters? Peter, you want to lead that or?
Where'd you put it?
There we go. The Pickmere Hall Farm one, which is discharge of conditions.
Yeah.
If you read through the things, that it's asking that conditions 3, 4 and 5 be discharged. They've put on the website of Cheshire East, there's number 3 is bricks and tiles. So there's pictures of bricks and tiles and everything. And then number 4 was, I can't remember.
4 was the tiles. Was it 3 was the bricks, 4 was the tiles. 5 was the windows or something.
And at the end of it, it said details will be forward, but they're asking for the condition to be discharged, but not put any information out there as to what.
Generally, with the discharge of conditions,
We don't say anything.
well, unless you know that they haven't been done, unless you're absolutely positive that what they're saying they've done hasn't been done. So unless you've been to it and seen that they haven't put those tiles in or they haven't, because it's down to the planning officer to check that and to sign it off. So it's more of a notification,
Yeah.
but if you did know that it hadn't, it
What they're saying then,
hadn't been
in their
done,
note that they've sent into Cheshire East, that
it'll be forwarded. So it
It'll
might be
be
forwarded to
forwarded.
the planning
it
officer.
also
maybe.
says the work hasn't started, but it has.
It has, yeah.
So, yeah. And the one on the orchards is an extension on the side of the house in the garden.
So no objections.
No objections other than
It's
to
just
note that the neighbours.
To be honest, it's just a replacement of, they had a concern, it's the
No.
one on the corner, I think.
No,
From different
it's not.
It's the next one next door.
Oh, right, next door,
They've
yes.
got a conservatory on the back,
Yeah.
but this is going on the side
On
of
the
the
right hand
garden.
side in the garden, because I stopped by and had a look to just make sure they weren't building onto their driveway. So it'd be like a 4-bedroom house with less parking. So, but no, it's not, it's in the garden.
Right,
There's
okay.
garden at the side. And then there's one that's gone to the planning inspectorate.
Yeah, the appeal.
The appeal, land north of Park Lane.
Where is that? I couldn't figure it out.
Do you know the land? You go past the Red Lion, the house is on the right hand side. The last house, just beyond that, there's a gate.
Yes,
There's a long track that
Yes.
goes down to about a 4-acre field,
yes.
and they want to build another shed in there.
Because he's a builder, isn't he? I remember talking to him.
No, it's a farm agricultural contractor.
Oh, right.
Pickmere Parish Council in, when was it? 5th of July last year, sent out quite a lengthy objection to it all, and the planning officer also wrote a very lengthy explanation of why the planning application wasn't allowed. So I don't think.
Do you want to repeat that objection? Do you feel that it needs to go in
Yeah,
again?
yeah, we do, yeah.
Okay.
Do you want me to give you that?
Do you mind?
Yeah,
Thank you.
I printed
And
it
I'll
off.
check. Okay.
Just to remind
Just-
what he's actually said.
One additional thing actually is that the applicant in their appeal has pointed out that one of the concerns was the increased traffic of large vehicles in and out of the site, and they pointed out that they already take large vehicles there to farm that field. But I would have thought they do that once or twice a season, whereas they're talking about once or twice a day they're going to have large vehicles coming on and off that land.
Right.
So it is still a significant increase.
Okay.
And it's on a pretty awkward bend actually
Yeah.
as well.
And given the parking we've had in very
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
warm weather.
Great.
And then we did have the response to our inquiry about the travel site on Spinks Lane, which
Yeah.
doesn't say anything other than they're looking at the situation and they'll inform us when they've made a decision. So
Been about 11 years of that.
So I mean, I don't think there's anything else that we can do as a parish council.
I think all we've got to do is continue to write to them again with the same thing and just keep them, because it's one of those things, if we stop bringing it up, they will
Yeah.
let it go. And I think it's, they
I
actually
thought
have.
once 10 years went by,
12, I think it is.
is it? I thought
It's
it was-
12, but it's
Yeah.
12 as long as there isn't some form of appeal lodged. If it's 12 years, if there's no one makes any comments on it and no one makes, but this has actually had, the whole thing has been right up to the top of government
Yeah.
and been agreed that they should shift their stuff. It's Cheshire East who've just not bothered.
So should we go back to government?
But I think
If the Secretary of State said they shouldn't go ahead, do we not go back
But
to them
they
and say...
said they should move. I mean, the whole thing, we've gone all the way, and it's all been ratified, and Cheshire East have just said that basically. And I think if we sit back,
I think because they've integrated into our village quite well, and there is only one family there, I think that that's probably, you know, the children went to school at Winsham Primary School, they have integrated, they go to the local pub, everybody knows who they are, and I think he's a liked person around the village.
So who else comes?
But sadly, it's you know, he may be a liked person. We have to take away from the fact that it's an individual. We have to put the fact that it's built on agricultural land, and as soon as, if we stop...
Well, there's no buildings there, is it? They are
permanent fixtures. It's permanent fixtures that have been there for a long, long time. And if you look at it, it's the ground's been developed, there's a track down there, there's fences up, and it's not... the point is that if you don't say something, then when do they start the infill? When do they start building houses? When do they start... This is agricultural land, it's greenbelt land, and there's a point being made that the Cheshire East have not acted on everything they've been told to act on. And I think as a council, if we don't act on it and don't say something, then when is the next one not going to be acted on, and the next one? And when are they going to start filling in the land?
Or when does it become the norm that you buy a plot of land and just do what you want?
That's the message you're then sending out, isn't it?
It is, yeah. But we do have a long list that the clerk has already written to Cheshire East about enforcement that isn't happening.
Yeah.
It's
So do we then go back, like Nick says?
impact on us at all, but on the other hand, as you say, it opens the door up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But like as Nick says, do we then go back to government?
So if you want an extension on your house, you'd apply for planning permission. Why bother?
Yeah,
Just do it.
You know, get the
Well,
point.
we'd be told to take it down, that's the difference.
That's the difference. It's exactly. So it's got to be the same rules for everybody.
Yeah.
It isn't though, is it?
No, but it has to be.
It
We
has
have
to
to
be.
pursue that, because if we stop pursuing it, it becomes open season around the village.
So what's the proposal for pursuing it then?
That we right back to Cheshire East, I think, right back to the relevant government authorities.
Who did you write to this time, Amanda, if I could ask? I didn't recognise the names, so...
Chief Exec.
Okay.
And then I got a reply from...
Principal Planning Officer Enforcement.
Yeah.
But the chief exec, you got I flagged it to them, we didn't actually get a response. Did we?
It was somebody else will deal with this. We've got your email and then I got that reply. So
Right.
if you want me to, I can write back to the Principal Planning Officer asking them for a timeline.
Yes.
Yeah.
Asking for something a bit more solid than think about
find
it.
out what.
Saturday. Oh, no, sorry. I'm
So do you have access to the government ruling?
It will be on.
Line of
It'll be. I can't remember what the government ruling was. It's pre-COVID. I'll
It's
have
a
a word
filing
with Chris.
cabinet.
Okay. All right. Well, if we can identify that, then
I'll have a word
then
with
we can send that with it.
Chris and see whether he can remember.
Yeah.
But
Swings Lane is a big file, isn't there?
Yeah, lots.
I bet Andrew Shaw will remember, won't he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it'll be, Andrew Shaw, because he's been involved in it right from the start.
You know,
Just take that as a task to talk to Andrew. It's the first time he hasn't been. So we're missing him, and we have a question for you. Okay, is that everything on planning?
Yes.
Okay, so on to reports. So we have a volunteer policy, which I'm sure was read in advance of the meeting.
Yeah.
So are we happy to adopt the volunteer policy?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
sounds very good.
Excellent.
Definitely.
Thank you, Amanda, for the volunteer policy. Okay. So,
We're going to move 9.2.
do you want to move 9.2 to somewhere else, Jane? Or do you want to take it on yourself?
Well, let me just...
It's the wilding, Jane.
Yes, I know, but I'm just looking where that we're talking about this.
Right, let's move it to the next one.
Okay, sorry, well, we'll put it with that, Amanda, if that's okay.
Put it with 9.9.
Please.
Okay. Move it after you.
Okay, on the agenda is to do with Pickmere Press. So the person who's been leading Pickmere Press since they've been in the village has obviously either moving or has moved. They have.
It's gone.
It's gone. Okay. So they are going to go ahead with the next edition, and apparently there was a meeting of the community group where
Can I update you on that?
he's been asked to do some additional publications next year.
What we've asked is if he will do one next year in terms of setting it out, and he's agreed. And then what we've said is that as a temporary situation, he'll carry on doing the printing and things for us, but myself and Sarah Flannery will take over editing it so that it continues, and we'll continue, and then we move on from there. So basically all we'll do is we'll do exactly what Dave has done and then pass that through to him. And
I thought that we would have just come up with a new...
Well, this is the thing, until we get something in place, we've got something that works and is very effective and does the job. So,
But we've got 3 months, haven't we, to get it sorted?
So I think at the moment what we've said is the community group will carry on sponsoring their bit, and as I said, me and Sarah will just edit it for a bit and keep the editions coming out, and we'll work out how many editions we're going to have out. So that means we get the council news into it and everything.
Okay.
So just as a temporary thing, it'll keep going certainly into next year.
And then in terms of the Facebook page,
That's going to keep going as well.
okay.
Could I just ask?
Facebook.
So I've never quite understood exactly what Pickmere Press is. In that, is it a company? Is it part of the community group? I just don't understand how it
Press
fits.
basically came about a long time ago, actually. It came really just as an information newsletter for the village. So it's independent of the council, it's independent of the community group, it's independent of the residents association. So it's really just, it started off as pretty much that.
Okay.
Dave took it on and made it a bit shiny and made it look nice, and when he came into the village, so improved it, and it's really just an information newsletter. So it's nice that it's independent of all the groups, but it's sponsored. I know that Ewan's already.
I'd like to see something like this that
Okay.
Wincham are doing, and Antrobus do one the same. I'd like to see something like this that's now going to, and do it every 3 or 4 months.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, it's not. Me and Sarah will just keep it going. Then we can look at changing it to that format
I'm
and
sure.
everything.
Right. Okay. So it's you who's going to look at it, not the council.
Because it's me and Sarah, because it is it's independent of the council, it's independent of the community group and independent of the residents association. So we've said that we will keep it going, so we've still got that newsletter going out. Because anyone can put news items in it. I know the residents association have, I know we've got local businesses that have advertised in it. I know Ewan's company has sponsored it for a long time now, hasn't it? Many years.
Decades.
Yeah, I know.
So in terms of, basically, it gets money from sponsorship, which some come from Ewan's company, some come from the community group.
The council pay a nominal amount for taking it
So I can't find any payments from the council.
I thought they had, I'm sure they had.
No.
Well, if not, then it might be the community group that's sponsoring it in that way. I know the community group paid for it. I know that business had paid for it. I thought that the council had paid for it.
I thought they did as well.
There's a budget
Because it
line
would-
for it, but I haven't seen any payments this year. But
Because it was agreed
last year?
that the council paid
A nominal amount, yeah.
£50.
Might not have been charged because of the changeover of council.
I think that's an extortionate amount for the 2 or 3 lines that go in.
It's a full
Well, it's a full page.
What that the council put in?
Yeah.
The council put a full page in.
Yeah. It's all the reports
So,
and
okay, so,
I'm not seeing that much, have I?
right.
Well, it's been in every single one for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
So I think, for me, keeping some continuity is good while we think about what we want to do next. I suppose my one question would be, who will write the council bit?
just a summary. I mean, if you want, I can write the summary of the meeting, or Alison, or anyone. I don't mind who. Nick. I mean, it's just really a summary of what's been going on in the council, a page summary.
Is it a full A4 page?
Yeah.
It's very much like the.
It's very much just like the minutes.
It's just it's
But
the
not
minutes.
as boring as the minutes, hopefully.
No, it's not. Basically, what it does, what it does is it summarises what's happening and what's going on. So it sort of looks at some of the planning. What we've not all the details, but just summarises the planning, summarises the asset
So
work.
who's done the page for the one that's going out in October?
I don't think there has been one, and there's not one going out in October. It's going out in November.
If you want me to
November.
do it for November, I'll pen something together and send it to
What
you.
I'll do is I'll get a couple of, I've got some copies, and send you them through so you've got an idea of what's been written beforehand.
But I think
They're on the website actually.
Yeah, they are. They're on the website.
It's a download.
I can have a look.
So you can.
But I just think for transparency and clarity, that it's probably better if the clerk does it.
Yeah.
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 I mean, we had a nominated, but Sarah Flannery did it for the council in the past. So, I mean, if, as I
So
said,
I've got
if
an
you're...
A4 page to fill,
Yeah.
and it's going out in November.
Mhm.
So I can send it round for everyone to check before then anyway.
And then just
And I'll
the,
find out the date.
just the only other thing that I just mentioned on our social media policy is if a member of the council posts on the Pickmere Press, they need to identify themselves. So we can't have anonymous postings by councillors.
Unless, of course, they post as an individual, rather than the
Well,
council.
our policy says they identify themselves.
On ours, but not on there.
Is this Pickmere Press or Pickmere Parish
Press,
Council?
Pickmere Parish Council. No, this is Pickmere Press.
So Pickmere Press has a Facebook as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So a councillor can't post on Pickmere Press as a councillor unless
No.
it's been agreed at the meeting, but they can post as an individual. Yeah, and it should start with, this is my
Yeah.
opinion or
So
something.
that's
Yeah.
way to identify themselves.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So
Sorry, just to clarify, so a councillor, we're talking about Simon because he's the only one with access to it, I guess. So Simon can't put a post on Pickmere Press as Pickmere Press without saying this is Simon
Yes.
posting as Pickmere Press. Is
If
that
it's
what the
something to
policy
do with the
says?
council, yes.
It can't post as a councillor unless you've all agreed to whatever he's posting, because then it's seen to be a council
The word of the
opinion
council,
and
yeah, right.
a decision,
Right.
and it may not be unless you've all said, yeah, that's fine, put it on. It's a bit laborious and
It will just be posted as Pickmere Press
It's
comment.
for protection though, isn't it?
but
Yeah.
That way,
I think that's a bit, for me, that's not quite.
Well, the problem is then we start going down personal ones. I mean, for instance, Jane's private one, but surely she can't post on her private one. Surely.
No, because Jane identifies herself as Jane.
Yeah, but I mean, the Residents Association, we have to actually identify and say this is my view on everything you put on there.
I think,
And
I can't.
I think if it's on the Pickmere Parish Council, I agree. But if it's a separate one and you're doing it as an individual, then you don't
See,
have to.
I disagree. I don't mind people posting as individuals, but I don't think councillors should be posting things anonymously.
Well, it's not.
Because it's not editorial,
It's not Pickmere
comment.
Press, and it's not posting anything to do with the council. It's posting things to do with events. It's posting things to do with Wincham, with Northwich. So it's things that are happening. Pickmere Press isn't a political thing, and there's never been one.
No, it's just like a notice board.
Yeah, it's just a simple notice board.
See, I have to say I disagree.
So, well,
I think it's wrong. We had that during the election where people...
Can't you change it so that you can just put your name on?
I can do, yeah.
And then everybody's
Well, maybe Sarah does all the posts.
Sarah's not on it, doesn't want to. But I can have a word with her, see if she's interested. No, I'm going to carry on doing it. I'll just put my name on the bottom.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But I think
I suppose in like the first issue that yourself and Sarah do it, you could say, put on, the editors are now, boom, and that's it.
yeah,
Yes, but not on the Facebook page. You
No,
just better identify
on
we
yourself.
can put it at the top.
yeah.
You can add it
That
to the
would
top,
make
and that, I
sense.
think I'll just put it on the top on the.
Then it's transparent, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll
Then we don't have to do
accept that as a compromise.
Yeah.
That's fine. Okay. Repair to benches. Alison.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, didn't have it in there. Yes, the repair to benches. They've been taped up and marked as being unsafe, although somebody's cut them. I've gone and done some research as to whether or not we have plastic, wood or steel, and I've put 3 options down to choose from. I've done some quotes on the plastic. Oh, none at all, yeah. I've put some quotes down that prices vary from £450 for recycled plastic, which, if anybody is interested, is made from milk bottles. And it says in the brochure, actually, exactly how many milk bottles go to make a bench.
Okay.
And that is the brochure, if anybody wanted to have a look through it. I've identified 1 or 2 that I thought might be useful. That's one option. The other option is just remove the seats and don't replace them.
But we don't know how much that will cost.
We could do it ourselves.
Yeah.
Could you do it with the concrete then? Because don't they have rods through them?
Yeah, and that's the rod that is the problem.
That's what I thought
Yeah,
it was.
you
the
could
rod,
remove
yeah.
them.
Do you think enough people use them, Alison?
Yes, they do actually.
Yes.
There's a little old lady who, I think it's her that's cut the tape on it actually, because she uses it 2-3 times a week, because I pass it very often.
Oh, you got to
Yeah.
you must have some there.
I'm just thinking of, how often the buses are.
I mean, I suppose the other thought is
times a day, aren't they?
the other thought is people may use them as a resting point if they're out for a walk, even if they're not getting the bus. And there are no other
Yeah.
public benches in that area, are there?
I've actually seen cyclists
Yes, they
pull
do.
up
They
and
stop and have their lunch.
sit and have their lunch there. They just park bikes against the bench. And
I think
As a
me
little-
personally, I think it's worth just doing something about them and getting them back, because
Yeah.
again, it comes down to this: if one person from the village is regularly using it, then it's for the benefit of the village. And okay, yes,
Yeah, but
there's
we
a
have to-
financial implication. I understand that, but it's longevity. So for me, it would be a case of seeing what out of these benches would sort of serve that purpose for a longer period of time.
So
And
you're
therefore-
guaranteed for 20 years.
give us some, the money.
So
the money
you're saying that it's worth spending, even though we're only using, there's a small minority using them.
Yeah, I think
Okay, so it's only that it's affecting a small minority, it's worth spending the money.
But I think as a council, we're tasked with spending money that benefits the majority
Yeah.
and not the minority. So I'm not sure I think
Isn't it
that's
something that maybe the community group would consider a donation?
Okay.
well, even if we took them away, it gets back to the need to put a base down, because the one on the Knutsford side doesn't have a base. The other one's just on tarmacs.
What's the replacement cost? As in, not replacing benches, but the wooden, as they are at the moment, just the wooden.
Well, the wooden lats, we got a cost there to repair of 290 to replace the wooden lats on the one. But when you actually look at the seat itself, the concrete at the sides are becoming unstable.
Yeah, they are.
The one on the other side is where the council tractor hit it when they were cutting the grass.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they smashed the concrete, which then exposed the metal, and the metal is very rusty.
Was that our council or Cheshire East
This
council?
was a long time ago.
I think it's Cheshire East, because they're Cheshire East borders.
There's no proof. It was taken up and it was followed up. There was no proof that it was them that had done it, and they didn't know enough to do it.
Okay.
The costs you've got there, are they for fitting them?
No,
just
there would be extra just actually buying them.
So,
I've not gone down the route of getting
No, I'm just
because
interested.
at this point I thought, well, we need a decision first of all to say, are we going to scrap them and not bother? Just repair the one,
The other
or
question
repair
I've got,
both?
just on the plastic ones, whilst personally speaking, I think I'd like to see wooden ones, but I don't think they're very durable in the position they are. I think the plastic ones have, for me, the element of longevity. The only question I've got is I have seen some of these plastic ones
Yes.
under the heat. They do.
No.
They stretch.
These are all UV tested and I've got all the data
Right, okay,
sheets.
that's
if we
great.
wanted to go
That's
through
great.
it,
I mean,
the data sheets.
I've got to say my personal one would be to replace both benches with one of the plastic ones, 2 plastic ones.
We're concerned about metal is that people steal metal,
Yeah.
don't they?
Well, that,
Do you know, it's worth money.
There's some beautiful
It also gets
benches
very hot in
that
our
you
British summers.
Well, absolutely.
We'll find out this
Do you
weekend.
think the community group would contribute then?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I can't say yes. I mean, I'm for it, but I can't speak for the community group because I'd have to take it back to them.
Alison, does the
But
look at the
I can't
cost
see
here?
it.
So let's say 2 plastics at the minimum 450 each, and the 600 fitting. Would that be for both or for each one? To be known.
Which one?
The other,
They would do, this company, NBB, and also another one, shelters, safe shelters, they would do a discount for 2.
the other thing we could consider is there is sometimes, and I know it's not the nicest place, but there are sometimes requests for benches, as memorial benches. I can't remember whether we've got any outstanding at the moment, but I know we did have one who was interested in.
I don't think people want the benches
But
there.
I don't think they would, but it is an option.
The other option is as well, the British Airways seats, benches down at the IROS.
I don't think that's right, Alison. They were given for down there.
They were just given to Pickmere.
They were given to go down by the lake.
Yeah, there's a reason for them there.
Okay.
Is there?
Right, so
Still
So,
swimmers.
Just-
whatever we want to vote on,
I mean,
Or not.
or not.
my input to that would be, I think we should repair rather than replace for a number of reasons. One, environmental, and secondly, financial. So I think my proposal would be that we repair the one that we can repair. I think if you put slats on it, it'll probably stabilise it anyway.
No. Honestly, the concrete is moving.
But if you put slats on it, it'll stabilise it anyway. It's a mathematical certainty.
Is
The only thing I don't know here is how much,
They are in pretty poor state.
but the only thing I don't have here to make a decision is how much does it cost us to take them away?
Well, it costs considerably less than getting replacements.
But that isn't an answer. I need to know what the number is.
Well, we'll wait till next month then.
Okay?
I'll get a quote to remove them.
Could we possibly get a quote to see how much it would cost to fit them as well, please? I know, just
I don't know.
a
And
sort
could
of.
you find out if the community group will contribute
Well,
Yeah, I can do, but I mean,
for next month?
the one with the metal, no, I very much doubt it. Was it John or Mike?
John Mills.
John Mills had a look at it and he said no. That,
he wouldn't fit it all.
no, he wouldn't replace, he wouldn't repair
Yeah.
the one going down.
No, I personally would like to replace, but
Okay. So we don't want to make a decision.
Can I check that? So you want quotes to
Remove.
put 2 new ones in with installation.
Yep.
You want a quote to remove both.
And make the ground good, obviously, so it's safe for people
Yeah.
to be standing on. But
And make the ground good. And you want to approach the community group to see if they would be willing to contribute towards it. So I will. Who do I approach? Okay. Is there somebody else I can approach who's not a councillor?
Well, Chris Tarrant is the treasurer.
Can I write to Chris and copy you in?
No, because he's the treasurer. I'm joint chair with Alison.
Alison.
I have emailed you about this twice.
Alison Bolt.
So I'll speak to them. I'm meeting with them anyway next week. So
Just as a point of interest, as a little historical fact as well about the very first bus shelter in Pickmere was a green one with sides. It was given and erected by the chairman of the then chairman of the Parish Council. It was George
What
Doe.
do you want me to put the bus
I'm
shelter
just
in?
saying George Doe.
Would it be the Ewan Campbell shelter?
John Doe. John.
Okay.
John
All
Doe.
right.
John Doe.
All right.
It was changed.
So we haven't got time.
Right, okay.
It was John.
do we also need a price for repair so that we've got all 3 options covered?
You've got
We
right,
haven't
we've got
got price for
one.
for one, but the other one we're pretty sure we can't repair.
Yeah.
Is that right? So one will need replaced either way. Thank you.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I'd say on that, no one's going to say they're going to repair it if they can't repair it, so it must be repairable, whereas the other ones. Okay, so we'll shelve that till next time.
Are you emailing me from your Pickmere Parish Council or from your own?
No, Parish Council.
Okay.
Sent you two.
I'll reply to you.
I've not seen a reply.
Next item is PAT testing. Oh, Alison.
Yeah, do we want to go ahead and do it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And can we take you following your dehumidifier, and would that be able to be pack tested as well?
Yes, I did mean to bring it, but I was busy evening. I will drop that off.
Offering to loan us for in here to try and get rid of the musty smell.
I have to say, I have to get it out of my garage, make sure it still works, but we should get it PAT tested.
Who's
before
going
we
to
turn.
empty?
I'll come in and empty it. And they
Well,
turn
you can't.
off.
Yeah.
They turn off when they
You have to
get...
empty them every day, don't you?
No, they just turn off and don't work until you empty them. So if somebody didn't empty it for a couple of days, it wouldn't flow.
If it's here in the room, they will
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, people do it when they...
Okay.
Lorraine, I think we've got one as well.
Have you?
We certainly used
It's just because it's such a strong smell when you come in, and it could put people off a bit.
Okay. Can I ask, just to extend this item and say, I mean, I don't think this is something that needs to come to council every year. It's something that is
This is
recommended
what we asked, isn't it? Yeah.
annually. So can we
It's that.
decide that the clerk can just do this every year? Can we delegate
Yeah.
that?
As we did, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
excellent idea.
In which case, could you set a budget of about 150 to service your fire extinguishers? I'm guessing it won't be that much, but you've got,
Yeah,
they're due
they're
now,
due.
aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
And they're here, and you must have them at Turton Pavilion as well.
Yeah.
And pat testing at both places as well.
Yeah, so it's £100
Well, the
in pat
pat
testing of
testing-
both.
Well, the pat testing should,
Yeah, PAT
it's
testing.
4 years.
Yeah,
2 years.
They can string it out to 4 years. Because it's little used, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true. And then
4 years.
4 years.
Then someone would have to do a risk assessment on that,
2 years.
because the recommendation is one. There's no legal requirement.
Yeah.
The recommendation is one. Could you do a quick risk
okay.
assessment?
And
It's pat testing, it's 4 years.
Mm.
But still, recommendation is one. So it's up to date.
Can you delegate to me the
Yes.
budget of a maximum of 150 to do get all the fire extinguishers sorted out?
Is that going to be?
Fire extinguishers.
Well, if there's any more, we'll have to bring it back to council next month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's just going to suggest, because it's first time round, might be worth.
Well, they are done every year.
No, I know. First time round for you though. That's
Yeah.
that's
Well, I'm
all.
hoping it won't be that much.
That's okay. I mean,
Sorry, are we also delegating pat testing?
Yes.
Yes.
Should we delegate
It's one of those things that's...
From the future.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For
absolutely.
future.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. To keep on top of the health and safety. Fair enough.
Excellent. Who's next? Peter. Green bins.
Yeah.
I signed up for mine today.
I've got to sign up for that, yeah.
that's
Yeah.
5.1
So
million.
do we actually want to pay the £56 to have the green bin empty?
There's not much grass, is there?
No.
I don't think so then.
Well, it's
Just when they cut, Peter cut the hedges
Oh,
and
just
the
have to
trees,
take it away.
Yeah.
and he does all the weeding and gets the leaves up.
But
Just put it in a bin bag.
for in 11 months, what is it, 11 months
Yeah.
of the year?
It's not worth it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never done the hedges here, but I would imagine it's only like my hedge at home. There's no way this all fits in the bin.
Yeah.
You'd have a pile that you'd have to put a bit in every week that would take a whole year to get rid of, and then you'd be cutting them again. So,
Well,
and we don't generate a lot of kitchen waste here either, do we? So it doesn't.
No, you can put kitchen waste in.
Yeah, but it's not major, is it? I mean, I think it's a waste of money.
I do.
yeah.
Okay.
So if you want to put, it's only £56, but it's £56 to be spent better elsewhere.
Elsewhere.
It's a training course, isn't it?
Yeah.
To training courses and stuff. Yeah.
Okay. That's a negativo.
Yeah.
So the next item is a request for a grant from the Soldier and Sailors Air Force Association, Armed Forces Association. Sorry. I mean, I'll kick off. I personally don't think this is something that we should be spending our concept on, as much as I would donate personally.
Can I speak as next? Armed Forces.
Sure.
This is brilliant charity, but I don't think we've had charity requests beforehand, and whilst I think a donation is a great idea, I don't think that we have a right to donate precept money or money from the council to a charitable organisation. I mean, I think if it was towards building a memorial in the village, then perhaps it would be a different thing. But sadly, I don't think we have the right as a council to...
You've got a legal right to.
We have got a legal right,
If
but a moral
it doesn't
right,
fit in with what the council does, then that's fine.
But I think it's also, we're spending the villagers' money on this, and not everybody may necessarily agree with it. So, I mean, and that's from an ex-forces, so...
So that's no, unfortunately.
So, I mean, the only thing I thought in balance to that is whether we could agree to put a post on the Facebook page, just highlighting the charity,
Yeah.
so that if individuals want to do it, they can.
Is that something we're going to do for every charity now?
We only get one of these once every 2 years. We get a request with...
For a donation?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Well,
we don't
I would say most of the councils I've been at get one every month,
I don't think we get one.
but most of them make donations.
Yeah, yeah.
So it could be.
Yeah, once you've made one, that's it,
Yeah,
isn't it? You're
yeah.
soft touch.
People are
I think-
aware.
Last time we had one, we did a similar thing to what you said, just put a note onto Facebook and said if anybody wishes to donate, they can.
Yeah. So,
So,
do you want to vote on that?
I think that's a strange thing for a parish council to put on their Facebook, because I think it's suggesting that people make donations to a specific charitable organisation. I think that's how it would be perceived.
You're picking one above all
Yeah.
the thousands of others that are out
Yeah,
there.
it's a little...
They go White Testament.
You have vote for heroes coming on and all the others.
It's a difficult one, isn't it?
I like it. We'll put them on.
Consensus?
Job for a
Yes,
master.
no?
What we're voting on?
No,
No.
we can't.
No.
Okay.
just on that, would it be, as a council then, would it be worth thinking for the future that we not necessarily sponsor charities, but we have charities that we would support and going forward, and maybe local ones? That's something to, for future discussion.
As in with fundraising, you mean? Or
Well, I mean, it could be fundraising, it could be whatever, but I mean, not necessarily. I mean, it's just if we're going to continually get requests like this, we could turn around and say, well, no, you're not one of our.
Well, maybe we approach it another way. Maybe our stance is we don't.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a thought
donations
either way, yeah.
to charities, and then anytime you get a letter, you can just write back and say, unfortunately,
We don't donate.
We
No,
don't.
it's fine.
donate to charities.
3 or 4 of these a day,
yeah,
Yeah.
Everyone happy with that?
Well, it
Yeah.
covers everybody's viewpoint
Yeah.
in the village.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think, yes, personal thought.
Okay.
Excellent, and we're steaming through. Back to Alison for the next agenda item. Let's have a spring clean.
I'm going to sprinkle into the top. We were moving some of the stuff on stage, and there's a lot of rodent activity, and also a smell.
I love that
Which is where I
phrase,
think-
rodent activity.
Which is-
Phrase.
I'm thinking it's the puppet show again.
Which is where I think a lot of the smell does come from in the wall as well as the damp.
What?
Rodent activity.
Are you proposing a cat, Alison?
No.
Parish Council cat?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Is that, I mean, on a more serious note, apart from the spring clean, is that something that we should be looking at, pest control?
They do come out.
Yeah,
They
they
come
are.
out every few weeks, actually, every 6 to 8 weeks.
He's got a key, hasn't he?
He
Just
comes
comes
and
in.
What, the mouse?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you look on
I
the stage, there are
actually, I spoke to him and asked him, and he said, I said we'd been, and he said, oh, I was only there a couple of weeks ago because he does the traps and he has a look around. So he said, right, he said, well, next time I'm in the area, I will come in and have a thorough good look with you. So he's going to give me a ring and I'll meet him and we can go and have a look. But he said, yeah, there is rodent activity.
So if there's someone dealing with rodents, do you not get a rodent report? Or
I don't know whether he's...
Do you know who he is?
Yes.
Or can you not
Sounds
put can you not put mouse traps down?
There are the poison
There are,
bait boxes.
if you look there,
There's rats as well. There's a rat box.
That's off the field,
But
aren't
no mice or rats in them.
No, it's a poison box. They eat the poison
And then go off and die.
and then go off and die.
Yeah.
So they don't.
That's worse.
So they don't.
Yeah, it is, exactly.
Well, it is, but it just means you don't get dead rat smell in the village.
The only reason,
But they could do-
the
they
only
could
reason
do
why I
the
don't like that
stage.
idea is when a rat goes off to die or a mouse goes off to die, a bird picks it up and then dies as a result of it. I'd rather have
You could out to the traps.
I'd rather have a mouse trap.
Well, we found the rat in the back.
Oh, please.
Right, well, this item's about to be different, but when you talk to your rodent person, can we get information?
On the report.
I mean, normally if you have pest control come around, they'll give you a report at the end.
Yeah.
So we should be monitoring that and working out if he's taking away rats every 3 weeks, then we need to up our...
I only saw the one.
Procedure.
Put it in the bin.
Okay, so spring clean. Everyone happy for a volunteer party
Yeah,
for spring
yeah.
We've got
That's
the
a great
volunteer
idea.
form now, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yep, and on your policy.
So if we do a...
So Alison's done a list of
What's needed.
activities, and I'll come and do the risk assessment.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
coming on Monday, so I'll do Tuesday, next Monday. So I'll do it then, and then once we've got the risk assessment, then you give me a list of volunteers.
Yeah.
They have to sign the form. They can't work until they sign the form, but they will be covered by the insurance
Yeah.
while they're working here.
That
they'll-
includes us, doesn't it? So we have to sign it as well.
Alison,
We're
I think-
No, not councillors.
Don't
Not
we?
councillors.
No, just cleaning.
Yeah.
That's an even bigger job. And
Yeah, no, I just think it could do with
It could do with a lick of paint everywhere. Yeah.
I'd like to see it
Yeah.
white rather than this sort of like dark colour.
Okay, so
Okay, so let's.
That-
We're
we
going
don't
to
need
do
we
that.
need to do the detailed
Just clean it first,
So I'll work with you on that, and we'll get the paperwork done in that.
Okay,
then I can get post on.
Parish Council Facebook site for this. A request for...
Yeah.
Well, I forgot, I've read the policy, but I forget now.
You
We
can
have to
do.
post it, does it also have to go on notice boards?
No.
But, no. Okay, that's
You
fine.
can.
It can go on something
If
like
you want-
Residents Association and Jane's page.
Yeah, if you want to ask for volunteers, as long as people
Yeah.
sign the
It's on to
form,
Pickmere
just get a
Press
copy
as
of the
well.
policy and risk assessment.
It can go on to us. It can go
One
on to the
conversation
Parish
about it.
Council as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Because it's the council asking for volunteers to help out, so...
Might be able to get it painted as well then.
I've got a load of volunteers already.
okay.
But Alison will be leading on that project,
Of course.
so she will be telling you when you can put it on social media
Right.
and what kind of format she wants to go out on there. Okay? So if anything to do with it needs to go through Alison.
It'll be clean.
Excellent. And Chris?
Oh,
Water-
sorry, can I just check that you're agreeing to the £50 for materials to clean as well?
Yes,
Yes.
Yeah.
sorry, but not a penny more. Okay. Jane, Chris?
Okay, Pickmere Water Safety Partnership. Chris and I met up with a big safety team that came from Cheshire East, Cheshire West, police, water safety, fire and rescue.
The whole bag mashing. That's 6 policemen as well, all have a different responsibility.
Yeah, so there was about 20 of us met up and we had a walk down to the bottom of the hill and around all of the area, Cheshire East and Cheshire West. Do you want to lead a little bit of it and then we'll come back to this? Or?
Well, of course, I'm thinking of the previous meeting. They talked about at this earlier meeting we had, they referred to it quite a few times actually, which this particular report, and we should have done more reports for you to show you, has gone to all the big hitters in Cheshire East and Cheshire West, and whatever other councils we've got here. I can't remember, there's 5, aren't there, different ones it's gone to. It was primarily to do with the water safety. So they condemned the jetties, and they'll deal with that. We don't know how yet, but we know that they've condemned them.
It was to do with somebody falling, having an accident on the far jetty. That's why all these people have come down to see it really.
But this morphed then into what you saw earlier tonight, where James, whatever his name was, who was the safety guy, water safety guy, did this report.
James Morris.
Yeah, along with a colleague. And that's then prompted that meeting tonight, because it went to the police commissioner. And then from what the local police station reported, it brought it together what we saw tonight at 6 o'clock. There's not much more to report, I don't think, apart from this, other than whatever, James.
The things that most of the issues actually were on the far side. They were on Cheshire West side, which were the jetties, not the boardwalk, but the little area where people can get. I think everybody's got a copy of this, and they were looking at all the different ways where you could have an accident as you're walking round. So we've got the pedestrian bridge as one of them.
Is that in Cheshire?
Cheshire West, yeah. So they are going to make sure that's already been actioned, and Cheshire West are looking at it and are going to sort it out. But the things that came back to us, other than the Platts Jetty, which I don't know whether it was quite condemned, but because he's holding it. They are saying...
I think just for time,
sorry.
Can we just deal with the things
the Cheshire East Council have advised Pickmere Parish Council to work with Cheshire East Highways to consider the development of enhanced parking restrictions for Pickmere Village. Pickmere Parish Council should continue to control the growth of shrubbery behind Jacob's Way, Pickmere, to maintain visibility of the area and therefore natural surveillance to deter antisocial behaviour, reduce the risk of fires that are in close proximity to residents' properties. So this sort of falls in really with what's happened behind Jacob's Way for the last 10 years really. Prior to that it was always managed very well, but the last 10 years it's been done every 2 years and cut down. And at the last meeting I fetched forward about Jacob's Way that the land should be, as far as I'm concerned, it should be managed in a better way, and Jeremy Lawton agrees, who's obviously, he's saying if it's, you don't know. Well, he does a lot of work. He has the Lawton's here.
Okay.
And
sorry, James, but we're talking about this report, not what Lawton's say.
Well, that's it, really.
So that's basically what the recommendation is for Jacob's Way, that they have recommended that the fires, the antisocial behaviour, the going to the toilet, that it should be managed in a better way than what it's being managed at the moment, which takes me on to my 9.1.
Okay, can I just ask a question on that? So,
of course you can.
So hopefully they will be talking to Pickmere Parish Council about this, because thus far they haven't, as far as I'm aware. No. But item 2, to the control of the shrubbery and growth, and then talking about the risk of fire. The risk of fire comes from cutting down the shrubbery. So that to me is an outstanding conclusion.
Well, only if it's the actual shrubbery, when it's actually cut down. They're saying that we know that people are having barbecues in that area, and they're generally hiding behind bushes when they're doing it. So if a barbecue was left and it was just it could just be left to go up, and basically all that area would be, and those houses then would be at risk.
I know, but the risk comes from cutting down the shrubbery.
No, because when it's been managed it's been actually it's been cut and taken.
Okay, but they've visited the site when someone had cut it down and not taken it away. And as far as I interpret this, the risk is from the cutting down.
Yes, yes, in fact, on that instance it was, because the shrubbery wasn't taken away.
Below
It's the evidence of the barbecues is all over the site.
Well,
You don't hide.
even Pickmere Parish Council should continue to work the community to cut back hedges and keep roads, areas, parking lines to obviously as a they were saying that barbecues are a huge problem to that area. If people have barbecues, then those houses are at risk, and I think that they are.
No, but I agree, but it's as a result of
Well, it could be a result of. You can't only say it's only just been as a result of items cut down, because if it was a dry, if we go through an extremely dry patch, which we can do quite easily, and somebody leaves, we already know that 2 years ago there was a huge fire on the right hand side of the lake at the top, where the whole lot went up and we had to have the fire crew and everything out because somebody started a fire there. You obviously don't know about it, but I've got pictures of it all when it happened.
Okay.
So it's a risk, it's a risk of allowing it to grow high, and people with barbecues, you know, we're trying to stop barbecues, we are, but it doesn't stop them. We can only ask people to put them out, and can we do constantly?
No, absolutely.
That's where the abuse come to. They've got a bad habit and of tipping them out onto the ground when they've finished, so they can, particularly with their good ones, not so much the mobile thing, you know, they tip the stuff out and off the top.
So I suppose that area of land, I know you've got a proposal about a meadow or something, and that I came to the talk and I'm all for the idea of a meadow. That area of land, if the whole of that area of land was shrubbery 2 or 3 foot high, some of which is prickly, then I don't really see a risk, because nobody's going to go in there. The problem we've had is that there's an unofficial path that accesses the back doors of those Jacob Way houses. So there is a way that people can get around the shrubbery to an area where they're then using it as a toilet. If all of that area was an overgrown, prickly shrubbery area, barbecues wouldn't be a problem, because no one's going in there to have a barbecue, and toileting in there wouldn't necessarily be an issue either, because there's no way to access it. The problem is that there's an unofficial access path.
I think people make those unofficial. It's not only the fact that people are walking down there, it's people are cutting through, aren't they, Chris?
There's several
If
paths
it's
in
planted
there.
with sort of with blackthorn, hawthorn, and that rose,
Well, there is some of that there
you can't,
already.
you can't get through them, can you?
But
Sorry, Jane. At the last meeting, we said what we were going to do was come up with a maintenance plan for all the council-owned areas.
I did, and I've had Cheshire Wildlife Trust down, and I've spoken to the BTO since our last meeting. The BTO have turned round, because everybody was worried about the wildlife that's there now. So they basically, the BTO turned around and said that there's absolutely...
Trust for ornithology.
That there's absolutely no way that birds, any type of warbler, will be nesting in that area, because it's too noisy, basically. They would choose to go where most of them are, which is at the top of the lake. That's where the BTO do most of all the birds that come back are nesting there, and that's where they do all the bird
Do we have a report from them?
The BTO.
Yeah.
He didn't send a report as such, he just messaged me back with it, but we have had a report on Cheshire Wildlife Trust.
Okay, so sorry to be a chairman, but this item is about noting that report. This is not on the
Well,
agenda.
9.1.
It's about wilding.
Yes.
It's about a volunteer policy, 9.1.
No, it's
9.2.
9.2.
Right.
So I just wanted to go on to this and then lead on to the wilding.
Right, can we just close off this one? So in terms of the recommendations for Pickmere Parish Council, do we just want to note those, or do we or do you want to respond to them and say...
There's nothing to do, is there?
Okay. All right.
I mean, it's something to take into account as we come up with our maintenance plan for our land. We obviously need to be maintaining our land we need to take that on board. But we still need to come up with a maintenance plan for how we deal with that. And that may be a wildflower meadow, but I think we need to look at what all the options are and
I
come up
think
with one.
when Cheshire Wildlife Trust came down, Virginia came down actually with me at the time, because she obviously is very much likes that type of thing. So I think that they thought that because of all the activity that's down there and everything that's happening down there, they said that you could have like a compromise really, where you could actually have a wilded area which would attract all the wildlife that all the birds and everything will benefit from. So what they're saying is by having a wilded area, it would all wildlife will benefit that's there. And it's a good way of keeping it fairly low, so that there's not going to be lots of activity. There's not lots of trees or bushes or anything like that where you're going to have any proper fires or anything like that. And because it's most wilding sort of stays around this sort of height really. So I thought that it was, from that point of view, I thought it was a win-win really, because you're keeping the wildlife there without any risk to anybody.
It sounds like a good idea, but I think for the council to be able to make a decision, we all need to see a report that tells us this is the pros and cons of this is the pros and cons of this is the pros and cons of that, rather than just you had a chat with somebody who thought it was a good idea. Do you see what I mean? Like, I think we need to sort of see something.
This is just a journey that we're going on at the moment.
Right, okay.
Which is about improving our lives, the village lives, from the destruction of the visitors.
Sure.
I didn't want to particularly show you this, but this is just today, which is somebody that's just crapped behind the Aros building with toilet paper. I and others go and clean that up because I don't like to see it there. But this is October. This is the norm. Unless we keep the place tidy and looking like it's cared for.
Another thing, what the Wildlife Trust...
Okay, Jane, sorry, I'm stopping there. We're not on Wildlife Trust tonight.
No, this is all part and parcel of it. This is the wilding, because it's the Wildlife Trust who've suggested it.
So this wildlife community officer is from the Wildlife Trust, is that right?
Cheshire Wildlife Trust. His name is Christy McGean.
We're meant to be receiving.
Okay.
So Christy basically said that community engagement around Pickmere wildlife and management. We also discussed the benefits of community engagement regarding the wildlife presence in Pickmere and what you're doing to manage it, in the hope that it would encourage local people to take pride in the area. We have previously done workshops such as, so they've talked about workshops they've done, but they've also said we discussed the use of finding out exactly what species are present in this area and using potential flagships to encourage people, so that when people are coming down, so when we are getting the swimmers or the people who are coming down, that they might see a little sign with a chetty warbler on, and they are... We know that they're fairly rare birds, so that we have, have you spotted, we've got 2 kingfishers on the lake, so have you spotted the kingfisher? And they're trying to make it so that it all looks quite environmentally friendly, and that it's not about people just coming and sitting and having a picnic and a barbecue. We're actually... It's about wildlife for most people who live in the village.
See, I love the idea of having a sign saying, we have this rare breed here, they do not like to be disturbed.
Yes.
After 8 at night or before 6 in the morning, please don't.
Yeah.
Having that input from Cheshire Wildlife is wonderful, and I think we should, that to me all rolls into how we maintain our land and why we're maintaining it and looking at the wildlife aspect of it. I think we need this input from these experts to then put together this body of work.
That goes forward with the neighbourhood plan as well as for looking at the area of the lake, because the report from Cheshire Wildlife Trust highlighted that area as somewhere that can greatly be improved.
Yeah, well, we know that, don't we?
So, I don't want to keep backing up, but
Can we note
the item on the agenda
Okay, so
is to fund wilding.
it's clearing the area at £530 for 2 days' work, or we can do it ourselves, or we can do it cheaper, which we know that Simon cleared, had it cleared for a lot less than that, I think, Simon, didn't you? At rotivating and seeding, this could fluctuate between £500 and £600 on the amount of seed needed. Planting would take place around March, and then the area would be protected for about 3 months to allow the flowers to become established. The seeds planted would be perennial, so no further planting should be required.
Well, I just feel that I'd prefer to discuss a bit more somewhere and find out what are we going to plant it with.
Well, Cheshire Wildlife Trust were going to do that.
Yeah, I'd like more information.
Yeah. I'd like to have a bit more detail as to what's going to actually take place, because one of the things that is down there is part of the reason for chopping it back is to maintain it so that there's the reed beds which go across that base.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, that's a very marshy area in winter, and there is a reed bed across the whole of that flat area, just below.
Well, there
the
never
bank.
was, Simon, was there? It was always
Well,
it was
it's
always
been
managed.
for the last 7-8 years, and a reed bed seems to be a rather natural
is.
thing next to a lake.
It is. Well, it is. The reed bed is there, isn't it? Of course it is.
And
we're
we've got
talking about,
lots of
we're
other
talking
reed
about the
beds.
land
Yeah, that's
of
one of the
Jacob's
things.
Way.
Yes, that's the right. Or are you talking about the bit at the top of the bank?
No, I'm talking about the land in front of Jacob's Way, not at the lake edge. I'm talking about the land in front.
There's a plan on the report.
Well, so that bit down there.
Yes.
Well, that's where the reed beds are.
Well, they were going to keep reed beds still, the Cheshire Wildlife Trust. They were going to keep part of the reed bed in there
Yeah, but that stretches all the way along that there area there.
for the wilding.
The reed beds go all the way from where the first major tree right away to where Platts Land starts virtually. That's just why I'd be interested in having a little bit more. That's the area I was talking about. That's why I think if we're going to do that, it's changing the nature of an area.
The reed beds are only at the far side, aren't
No, they go all the way across.
Okay.
I just personally, I really like the idea of us having some sort of wildflower meadow. I'm just not sure we've got enough information to make the right decision.
That's where.
Do you know?
That's my thought process.
I sent you the report, didn't I, Nick?
I don't think so.
Everyone's had a copy of this report.
Yeah.
No, that's the other.
Yeah.
What was the other report?
That's from Cheshire Wildlife Trust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, we've all had that. Yeah, I just don't think there's a detail there on.
Right.
So my thing is, so the idea of a wildflower meadow, wonderful. When I forget his name, the gentleman who came and gave the talk.
Yeah.
We were talking. I was talking to him about having it on the hill. You know where the long grass is on the hill. He thought that potentially could work well. This area, I'm sure it could work well there as well. I'm just concerned about what we risk destroying in that area in putting in a meadow area. And I just think to be able to make a decision on that, I need more information because I don't know anything about what's currently there and what we might be risking.
So
From what you've said that the BTO have said...
Can I just ask you this? What do you want me to find out?
Is it not possible for someone to come and talk to us about it? Can we not ask him questions?
Well, I can
What state is the ground? What is the ground likely to be able to grow? Because Jeremy Lawton said that you'll never grow anything
Well,
there.
it's not what Cheshire Wildlife Trust said.
Who do we trust?
Well, obviously we've got to...
Maybe we'll get David Morgan across.
Or are we just making an area for more people to sit on?
Well, not with wild,
Not with
areas,
flowers.
are we?
But it's just it's a meadow.
Set on flowers.
Well, that's my concern is
They're
that...
generally fairly high, aren't they?
I know, but people just
They
flatten them.
just trample them.
That's my concern, is that we make it worse, and in doing that, we destroy a habitat for something, you know,
So, Nick,
edible dormice or something.
can I
I have no
ask the
idea.
question?
you know.
What is it you want me to find out?
Well, I think I'd like to know what's the current state of the land in terms of habitat. Are there any rare species there? Is there anything
I can tell you that there is absolutely no rare species there at the moment.
Okay.
But anyway,
But we do need that report. From
Okay,
somebody.
So I think what we need is
so species. You'd want to know what species are there. Yes.
and then what effect on wildlife corridors? Did it cover that or not? You were the
It does. Got a copy of it and didn't have time to look it all.
I don't think there
I can't remember all of it.
Can you send a copy of that to me then, Alison? Or what
I'll
it
send
says
you a
about
copy
the
of that
lake
little
itself?
bit. The problem that we have is we were going to, as a neighbourhood plan, sorry Ewan, to digress a bit, but there's a lot of inaccuracies because it wasn't a site survey, it was a tabletop survey. So there are quite a few.
But I thought they paid a lot of money for that report.
It's a tabletop survey that they did, not an actual physical one. We would like to get someone out to do a physical report of various areas that we've noticed in the plan that we feel are incorrect.
Okay.
I just think we need a little bit more.
Yeah, so I think we could
What do
maybe
you
a bit
want,
more
Sam?
focus. I'd just like to see a little bit more focus on what is actually going to happen, what the impact will be, what the change in habitat will be, what the impact of the change in habitat will be,
So
and also how it will go ahead.
So how can I just ask, when you've had it cut down every 2 years, what did you find about with any of your report?
And what do you mean?
Well, we cut it down 2 years ago, didn't we? I was there with you when it was all cut down. So what report did you take out on it?
What respect?
Well, you must have looked into what you thought was there before you had it cut down.
Yeah, and what we've done is tried to maintain it as it was.
Well, it was all cut down.
Because what you need to do is to stop the willow coming through and replacing the reed beds, you need to chop it back so that the reed beds can actually just maintain
Okay, so
themselves.
it's been done before,
If
you thought it was okay to do it before, but now you want to know.
Okay, so I think,
because we're changing habitat.
Just to invigilate here, what they did, they didn't change it. They maintained it.
Okay.
So what grew back?
Yeah.
was exactly the
So
same.
you'd prefer to see it cut down every 2 years?
No.
and-
What I'd prefer to do is see what the change would, or how it impact on that area, and how we'd go about changing it if we are going to change it.
Okay.
I'm not saying I want either way. I just want to have a bit more information.
But you know, when you've had it cut down in the past, what information did you find out then?
Oh, all sorts. I mean, we've just maintained it. I've also, if you remember, I have actually been a manager of an SSSI for about 4 years for Derbyshire Wildlife Trust, which was basically looking at a similar sort of site with reed beds, willow, water-based areas. So I used a
Other
lot
than
of
ours is an SBI, it's not a triple SI.
No, but
We lost that.
an SSI, sorry.
Okay.
But I think we're going nowhere. All I'm asking for is
Yeah,
the
okay.
same as Nick, is a bit more
Yeah.
I actually have one question I'd like to answer.
Yes, I'd like go on then. Ewan.
Why here for the wilding and why not on the...
Well, it's what the Cheshire Wildlife Trust came up with. It's what
But
they
why,
suggested.
okay, but I would like to know why they don't want to do it on the hill,
Yeah,
which is where I think it should have been.
yeah.
Well, I'll tell you where they suggested also. They didn't suggest it on the hill, they suggested it down the side. That's where they suggested it.
The side of...
They suggested it in front of Jacob's Way, but also when I walked up the hill, they also suggested it at the far, where the trees are as you come down, the far edge of the...
Okay.
So opposite the Turn Pavilion, they suggested a run of it down there as well.
Okay,
That's nice.
Yeah, that works.
so I would like that.
So they asked for they said the two areas. I think it's possibly even in there, but that's what there was an area on there that they came up with as well, because we walked all the way around.
Right.
Okay, so we
Sounds
could
good. Yeah.
maybe defer and get some more information. And we just circulate those reports that people have that other people don't have, because you all need to have the same information.
Sorry, just one last thing on that. I know we've short time. Didn't they say something about they could come and do a survey and tell us what species are there? I know they wanted money for that, but isn't that a thing in
There was, Nick, yes.
But you see, that could be tied in with the neighbourhood
With the neighbourhood
plan.
plan, rather than doing two bits,
Yes.
why don't we do one thing properly?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, yeah.
Okay, and then I just said that the only other thing, the point you made about who do we trust, Cheshire Wildlife Trust is a money-making organisation, so we do have to take it with. Yeah, they've got a vested interest. They're going to tell us to do stuff that they want.
Okay.
Don't say that. Yeah, they're going to tell us to do something we shouldn't do, but I think we just have to balance that.
Yes.
Yes.
But it is I didn't know that, but the trust surely, by the very word, tells you that it's a non-profit making organisation. Is that no?
I'm not sure.
Well, it doesn't sound as though it doesn't sound as though it's profit making by how much they're charging for coming out and
Anyway.
things, does it?
But something to understand.
All right,
Are they profit making? Are they not profit making?
we've flogged that today.
Yeah. Okay. Item: a volunteer project for Cheshire Readings at the top of Cllr Drive. We have the mechanism.
Yeah.
Anybody object to that?
Good idea.
Okay. And we happy with £150 to cover materials?
Yeah.
Doesn't sound enough to me.
I think you're going to need more for paint.
Do you?
Yeah, I think you will. We spent,
Did you buy hammerite?
yeah,
Or did you just buy
we
normal?
spent more than that last time because
Yeah, I would have
I think
thought
we needed at least two pots of black, and then at least I think it was 3 or 4 pots of white.
How big were the pots?
I can't remember exactly.
Hammerite doesn't look really massive, but they're big ones.
expensive.
But they'll be at least £30
Yeah,
a
I
pot.
would say they're like that. aren't they? About
I would
30
suggest a
quid.
little bit more, and also you've got to think about materials like paintbrushes and stuff. So I think it's a great idea and it needs doing, but I think a little bit more money.
Do you rub it down
Because
first?
because we could always come back and
What should we say, 300?
you don't have to spend it all, do you?
No.
No.
Certainly 250.
300 and then
300 and
300?
yeah.
purchases were made by the clerk anyway, so.
Do you rub it down by hand or can you use a
Terry said a grinder.
yeah, I just want to say that.
Grinder,
Okay.
sand, electric sand.
Okay.
Health and safety equipment required.
Risk assessment.
Risk
Quite a few
assessment.
broken ones in there, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay. 11 was on the neighbourhood plan, which I believe we're going to defer.
Going to defer. Would you like to agree the members of the working group though?
Oh, yes. Simon, Wendy, Rimmer, Diane Owen, Jen Hughes, myself.
And usually for committees and working groups you have your chair and your vice chair as ex officio, so
Yeah.
they can come and visit the meetings anytime they want, or you can call on them if you have
Yeah.
somebody who's not there who you need to fill the space.
Can I ask just a question? So if there are other people in the village who want to be involved in this, how do they get involved?
Come and ask me. I put a post out.
The other thing is, once what we did in the past is once someone, when we first started it, if there's a particular project that someone might be interested in helping out with, they could actually go away and
Yeah.
go and research that project and then bring it back so that people can get involved in all.
You have your core working group, and then anyone who wants to do in the village who says, I'm really interested in that, can I come and do that little bit? Or we can go and ask somebody, would you mind doing this? Then, yeah,
All right, so
a sub of a sub.
just make a note of that. So,
Yeah, but that'll be in the terms of reference which we're working through.
Oh, okay.
Yes, we
All right.
change it to
Volunteers
All
to
right.
help.
Good point. Okay. God, I don't really want to say this word, but Christmas event.
Christmas? How many weeks?
Well done.
Too
Enough.
soon.
It's not that far because this is like 26th of November. It's about 8 weeks away. So Naomi is taking the lead and I am assisting her
As an individual.
as an individual. So it's not
So it's not a
the
council.
council doing it, but Naomi's doing it. It's her insurance, it's her everything really.
An individual has asked if they can use Parish Council land to hold a Christmas event on.
Yeah.
So they've asked for permission to hold it there. They will do a risk assessment, they will do the event planning, and they will give you a copy of the insurance. So it's the 2 pieces of land at the top of Cllr Drive on the 26th of November. If you're happy with that.
So, sorry, it's not community
Permission.
group. This is.
No, no.
This
It's
is
the
something
same
that we've
girl
done before.
Who's
yeah.
Naomi?
Naomi's someone who lives just up the road there. And
It's the lady that started the market store.
That was the year of COVID, wasn't it? First, yeah.
Yeah, because it was
Okay, I don't see any objections to that.
nothing.
And is it just those two bits of land, or is it
No,
driveways as well?
basically
Driveways as well,
But
yeah.
driveways,
If people that want driveways will still have the driveway.
Okay.
They've got the option to use that at the top.
And you're having the Father Christmas thing?
Yeah, we're having the grotto ones.
Yeah.
Who's Father Christmas?
Oh, grotto.
I think
You
that's
Father
still in the...
I think Father Christmas is Father
Naomi's
Christmas.
husband, isn't it?
No,
Yeah, this has been recorded. This real Father Christmas.
We're having a donkey.
Oh, real Father Christmas coming. Sorry, my mistake.
Is the red line involved?
no.
The Red Line do offer their, did last year, and I'm going to check up to make sure they're happy again, because there was one group who needed toilets, because they are...
Well, we were hoping if we could, Naomi can get somebody to stand on, but maybe use our toilets at the Turton for the 4 hours, and she'll get somebody there.
It's not that, it's to do with their medical condition.
Oh,
So the
right.
Red Line let them use the ground so they could nip in and
Yeah.
out of the Red Line.
Okay, yeah, get that.
Okay.
Okay, so you're
So is
basically giving them permission to hold it
Yeah.
on your land and for them,
That's
as long as they meet the requirements of the event plan and
I said all
the
the
insurance
in
and
advance.
everything, which sounds like she's well ahead with all that.
So this is for free.
Would you normally charge for using your land for a community event?
Not on there, no. We didn't. They got. Well, it was used last year.
You
The
just
council
didn't say
gave
it about
permission
the
last year
village
for some, and I think it's the same thing. It's a good thing. It's
No, but no one's going to hire the...
Lorraine's come up with a few
Yeah.
extra good ideas to, like the
Sorry.
grotto and things, which are going to be on there. I think it's great that we've got that
Sure,
additional
I'm hoping
information.
it will be nice, it will be good.
Yeah, I think the additional
Naomi
things-
knows her stuff, so...
No, but I don't anticipate someone's going to come along and say, I want to hire the top of Cllr Drive on that day. That's the difference.
So you can
Oh,
advertise
right,
it
I
on
see
your
where that's
website and on,
No,
Can
no,
we?
and on Facebook.
I think it's
You're
really
working.
free for
Oh, dear.
events
Yeah.
in the village, yeah.
Okay. So
We
can
were
we have...
saying before about
Yeah,
Is that okay?
be free.
Can we just have permission to advertise it on the Facebook, Parish Council Facebook page and website?
Yes, please.
Thank you. Money when we thought it was going to be a council driven.
What you've agreed is to delegate £250 to Lorraine, the clerk in association with Lorraine, to help support events if needed, but there's no support needed for this one.
Okay, so,
No, we seem to be...
Yeah, she's quite happy to run it herself.
okay, cool. Note 19.
Sorry, just one. Saying about not promoting charities on the council Facebook, should we be promoting this? I know it's an event in the village, but is that more of a Pickmere Press thing rather than a parish council thing?
It's a village event.
Yes.
Okay, that's fine.
I agree with that.
Okay, great.
So this is to apply for electrical safety first grants. So this is something that has come in. I'm quite happy to make an application. My thought was that the application we would make would be around low income families making pack testing, safety testing available, and then if they did identify a small item like a kettle that needed to be binned, that we could look at applying for additional money to refund that equipment. Haven't quite got it, but basically the older community and those families that are on lower income would be my thought. So,
Do they go in there and just check it all out for?
yeah, I mean, we're applying for a grant. The chances are we won't get it, but I think it's worth
May as well
giving it a go.
Yeah, give it a go.
But they give the money, they're not providing the people as well. We'd have to source an actual contractor to go and do the surveys using the money they give us, do they? Is that how it works? Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's
So
just
we'd have to find a relevant local tradesperson who could do the work,
yeah, but we
paid for by the grant that we get from this organisation.
we would just be doing back testing in people's houses. And
Yeah, so just get a pap test.
yeah, get Barlow's in
For
there.
who? For who? Who would you want to do it to? No, just so I can put it in the minutes.
So for, I mean, my idea was for
Households on low income.
low income families and
And how are you,
Senior
And all
members,
senior
senior
how are you going
members.
to identify that?
well, obviously houses on some grant to supplement their income from the government. So, but we just ask people to apply.
Right, so okay, so
the moment, I think
Would they have to? Are you saying would they have
it's
to?
just that it's got to be in like 2 weeks, and I just think you need to be a bit more tight about what you're applying for. Just for the minute, it's not really tight when you put the grant in. So you're going to apply to PAT test in residential homes
For people
within Pickmere Parish Council, within Pickmere Parish.
within catchment area for the election list.
Okay.
I don't think there's a requirement to pat test in private homes.
There isn't, but it's to do with electrical safety. So they're going into
it's to
people's
check their
homes
wires,
to check.
okay.
Yeah.
Did they do things like fire alarms?
I guess they can check for
Electrical
to do with
safety.
electrical.
Yeah.
That's the fire brigade.
Yeah, that's the fire brigade.
Oh, right. I was just thinking about smoke detectors in people's houses.
Okay, but we're doing.
That's the fire brigade.
My analogy is we're doing pack testing in people's houses to check their appliances
And the electrical
on the electrical system,
That's it.
and hoping to replace any equipment of low cost if it's discovered. And it would be for people of pensionable age and low income families who get some sort of support from the government.
That's all of us.
All of us.
Not all of us.
4 of us.
Obviously,
I think you need to
members of the members of the Parish Council need not apply.
Okay, and are you going to do that?
I'm going to do that, yeah.
And then send it to me and I'll submit it.
Yes. It's exactly what I was going to say. Oh, watch this space. 9:14, which is back to Jane. So the erosion of the bank.
Okay. Well, we've all seen it on this side, but there's a few photographs there to pass around to see what we're dealing with.
I mean, is anyone unaware of the erosion and the bank?
It's actually gone really, really bad.
It was bad. It was bad the other week. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
That's a footfall, isn't it, down through?
Yeah.
So I think it's two things that are creating it. When the stream at the top of the lake stopped getting dredged by United Utilities, it's basically sending the water level a lot higher in winter, especially when we're getting a lot of rain. So we're getting a lot of higher water for one. The power boats are another reason why it's creating, they're coming close to the edge of the lake, and we've got wakeboards on there now which have got huge engines on, which are creating some of it, the swell just absolutely.
We've had as many this year though.
We've not had as many, but you don't need as many.
No.
All you need is boats to go on that are creating huge waves that will. You've got a bank there that there's probably 150 people standing on every single morning and all night.
It's clay and sand, isn't it? So
Yes,
it's just
actually like sinking sand. So I got two quotes, two companies.
Also, the prevailing wind, noticed today, when it's wind, had a huge effect as well.
Yeah.
It's walking right into it.
So our first thoughts really, we had two ways that we could have gone. One with rocks and one with Gambian baskets, which was our. I didn't think Gambian baskets were going to be so expensive, but when I got the quote and it was 4,500, I thought nobody's going to agree to that. So I had another company come out, and they've got their own rock. They've got rocks that they're prepared to give our village free of charge, and then just pay for the bank to put it back afterwards. They could put the rocks in now, but they're saying that while the water level's so high over winter, which it will be, they wouldn't build the bank back till probably March of next year, but the rocks could go in now to actually form some sort of a barricade up against. Okay. But we know that children are going down there digging. But if you stand in this little bit here, it's actually like sinking sand. So we've got no choice other than to deal with this. Otherwise, the problem that's going to happen is if we don't deal with it, the the erosion will continue and it'll keep on dropping back, and we will be at the footpath.
Yeah.
And if we're at the footpath, then people can just literally step from the footpath into the lake, and they're not even walking really, technically on our land.
Our land is gone.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's got to be done.
There's also, I would have thought, a risk that if someone injures themselves crossing that bit of land, they could potentially sue the Parish Council. Even if they're not really meant to be on that land,
Yeah.
if we've not maintained that land, potentially I would have thought there's a risk of
I mean, it's very steep now. You really,
You're jumping down.
you're literally getting up with like, you're fetching your leg quite as high as you can get it to get up that bank there. If you tried to, a lot of you probably wouldn't even get up it.
Let's just slow.
You know, you'd have to go around this way.
No.
Is there any way that we can encourage people to enter at a different point?
Well, I think that once the rocks go in, you will. That's what, because what I'm suggesting that we do is we put the rocks in now, and then it won't be cornered off now, but...
Well, isn't that going to cause a problem with the swims again?
They'll have to go around the side, won't they?
Yeah.
No, there is a
Yeah,
side.
yeah.
But I'm presuming this is what you mean. If the rocks are there, they'll just automatically go around the side.
Yeah.
And the bigger places, concrete to enter the water.
Yeah, there is. That's what I was suggesting.
But I don't think we've got any alternative other than to deal with this problem. And the reason why, okay, I've got two different companies in, so I've not gone like for like quotes, but the fact that these rocks were going to be given free of charge, it probably would have been a lot more money than this. I'm suggesting we go for the cheaper option.
Do we know what the rocks are and how big they are?
The boulders, big boulders.
Okay.
We can all go and view them if we want to beforehand, because they're actually in Pickmere.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they are.
Cool. Right, so I don't think anyone...
Well, you started off with the initial problem is the water level.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. They won't do it till March of next year.
United Utilities.
No,
Well, are they doing anything about stopping the water from coming down?
no.
Won't they?
No, I think you're talking about two different things. You're talking about the drainage from the lake.
I'm talking about walking to the very top of the lake,
Yeah.
The drainage
and where the
towards
stream is.
Yeah.
There, they don't do it anymore.
The one going out towards
Yeah,
Great
going to
Budworth.
Great Budworth. So no, it's not been maintained by them for years now, since they pulled out.
I think it's about 2 years. since
It's
the last
longer than
one.
that. It's probably
it's a long
time.
4 years ago.
Again, because of
Yeah,
a short
actually,
time.
right, it is.
So I don't think anyone disagrees that there's an issue and that we need to do something. So, I mean, I am in agreement with Jane that we should try the cheaper option first,
The boulders.
and
I
as
think
they've
we
been
should.
donated.
I think we should challenge United Utilities to maintain it.
Peter, it's not going to make any difference to the erosion. This is 150 people standing
Well,
on
you
this
just
every
said
single day.
part of the erosion is due to the water level.
It's in the winter, yes, in the winter, but there's all different factors. There's most of this.
This has happened so
But this is
quickly.
one factor
This-
that the
this-
council should be changing
This is
up on,
happening with
shouldn't they?
people standing on this on a daily basis, come winter, summer, every
Okay.
single
All
day.
right, so
It's-
the agenda item, can I bring us to the agenda
Yeah,
item?
sorry.
Is whether we spend £850 for the boulders and the backfill.
Can I ask one more question about boulders? I'm just trying to look at, are the boulders to allow the backfill and then people will still go through that area?
I think
Or are the
that-
boulders so big that people will
No.
not use that?
No, I think eventually that the boulders will still be.
So people will sort of go from that nice metal bench along the backfill, reach the stone and then step down
I think that's
onto
what
the
we'll-
sand.
The boulders will reduce the impact of any of the erosion caused by the water or the boats, because it'll slow down the waves.
will. Yeah.
But it'll also, boulders allow debris to build up, so you get sort of twigs and stuff like that building up, and that then brings in the soil, so it actually builds a natural.
Yeah.
And then you can build behind it as well. And
So maybe you won't need the backfill then.
No, 100%. You'll 100% need the backfill.
You will put several tons worth of
The
backfill
rocks are going in the lake.
Can I just suggest that, yeah, rocks are great, but can we also just give United Utilities a shout as well?
Yeah.
Like, there's no
Because
harm in trying, is there?
when that outlet
Well, it's not even in
totally
Pickmere now,
blocked,
but you can go for
no,
it.
but when it totally blocks up, what's going to happen then?
You mean when the lake's a foot higher,
No,
2 foot
when
higher,
the-
3 foot higher than
When
it
the
is now?
stream going out,
Yeah.
it's totally filled up with silt and rubbish and whatever. So there's no link between
just
Pickmere
becomes
Lake
marsh.
and...
Well, it's going to
Why
become
not?
a stagnant lake.
Yes, but the level will rise and rise, won't
Yeah, we
it?
know
Right.
that.
Need more reasons.
So we
Sorry.
have more reason to chase them.
Okay, so
So, proposal number 1 is we go with quote A for the boulders and the backfill, £850 plus VAT.
Yeah.
Can we have a vote on that?
yeah.
Okay.
Is that you, yes or no, P?
I didn't put my hand up.
That'll be an abstention. So in
We haven't asked yet, have we?
what?
Just ask.
Just asked.
Well,
Is anyone abstaining?
No.
Is anyone voting against?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Can I ask why you're voting against? Is that okay? Just out of interest.
You can ask.
You're going to tell me?
No.
Oh, okay. I just thought you might have something material
I
to the
think we
conversation.
should challenge United Utilities first.
I think we should do that as well.
We've
I
got
don't
to
think
do
we've got
that as
time.
well.
So meanwhile, we'll let this happen.
Okay, well, we made a decision on
Okay,
that.
we have.
Okay, the second proposal is that we contact United Utilities.
Yeah.
Can't see
I
any.
propose that.
Yep.
So could you write to and ask them if they can help us out?
Start dredging again.
I've got a feeling the answer's going to be no, but because if they had to do it, they'd be doing it.
That's right.
Okay, charging for parking on parish land. As quickly as you can, Chris.
I'll be brief. Really all I want to ascertain now, please, is first of all, does everybody, that's not a proposal, I want to make sure everybody agrees that we should charge for car parking. So I'll take that as a yes.
I'm not sure. I can't see how it's going to be of any advantage to us.
Well, hear me out, Simon.
No, you asked the question, so I've answered it.
No. So there's
more than welcome.
a bit follows on, I just wanted a flavour. So the car parking, charging for car parking, goes hand in hand with the parking for the rest of the village.
Yeah.
Because it goes without saying, I hope, that if we charge for car parking and don't do anything about parking in the rest of the village, it'll just make the parking worse elsewhere, because people don't want to pay. From those of us who went to the meeting earlier at 6 o'clock will know that something is happening there. So it then follows, if we do agree to go for car parking charges, when we do that, and that's sometime in the future, I would suggest, the sooner the better for the village, as we all know. It then remains to discuss how much we would charge, and that's for future discussion, because I've approached now the original, I think 11 companies, I've forgotten, plus another 7 I added to it, and then I found the 2 outfits that have membership for companies that can do car parks. The one I approached, I have 170 members, did a post for me to ask who would like to quote for this, and we were inundated with nobody. As I had with my original ones, we just have one car park company so far who's said they will do it. And their deal is they do everything, there's no charge, and we get 10% of the charging. And they take over, and obviously it's, how do you call it? Thank you, yeah. So it's all automatic. It couldn't be easier. And we then decide what we want to charge. It can be anything you like, by the hour, by the day, as much as you want, as less as you want, whatever.
Could I ask a quick question, Chris? Is the what happens to fines? Do they take all the money from fines?
Yes.
Just one thought is one of the issues, one of the benefits of having paid for parking is that if people park in the hashed areas where they shouldn't, they can get ticketed and fined.
Yes.
What I'm wondering is there any way of actually having ticketed but free parking, but having parking out with the official bays still levying a fine, if you see what I mean?
Absolutely.
So that you know, if you go into Lynn, you can park for an hour for free, and then you pay beyond that. could we have some sort of system like that where we're not really about making money off the parking because we know that without permit parking that's going to drive people to park on Cllr and driving elsewhere.
Yes.
But if people park in the areas that block the emergency access to the lake, somebody's going to give them a fine and hopefully reduce them doing that.
Yes.
Is there any way of doing that, or these companies are going to want to have some income from tickets?
That's what I find amazing about this one company, is that they've just completely left it to us. We can design it in any way we like. They pay for the park, for want of a better word, the parking bays and the signage and everything. The whole choice of signage, again, I think I showed some of it out here last time. So perhaps it will come to everybody a bit, how do you get your heads around how that works? But that's for future discussion. We've got to do this in stages. Do we want to charge for car parking? If we do, what's going to happen with the rest of the village? Because human nature says, well, I'm not going to pay there, I might as well park illegally on that. So that has to come in.
What are the fines for parking? Do we decide that?
Yes.
So we can say that if you park there and you've not got a ticket or you've not paid.
No, we don't know. No, we don't know because it's not by PCN, of course.
No, but what I mean is we say to the company, if someone parks there illegally, they will be fined £100.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we also.
But we don't get any of that.
Don't we get 10%?
How do they check? Do they have someone come down, or is it done by CCTV?
CCTV, PCN. Yeah.
So they'd put a CCTV on
Yes,
there?
we can. We have the option if we want of not doing that and looking after it ourselves, and that is by whoever we would appoint to look after that, and they would photograph the car from the back with the signage in front of how much they should pay with the number, okay? And then you go away and you come back 5 minutes later, if it's still there, you then photograph the car from the front with the number plate still visible and nothing in the front, and then you send that, email it across or whatever to the company, and they take over from there. So I'm explaining that just because the flexibility is just beyond, whatever we want.
I mean, the one thing that when Cheshire Wildlife Trust came down, and it's sort of been noted really also when we met up with the police last week, that there's nowhere as a sort of like a country park or anything like that. They said that basically you can't go to anywhere now without having to pay a fee, and that we know that most of people come down because it's free of charge. Now there's lots of people who've equally come down to me and said we're willing to pay, we're happy to pay. So it'll be an interesting one when if we get it, if we do pass it and it goes in, we trial it. And if it works, you know what I mean? If it works, we're on a win-win. If it doesn't work, I agree. I think permit parking would have to be possibly in place, or some other parking provision to know that it definitely will work. But it'd still be I'd still love to trial it.
It's no contract either, by the way.
I'd still love to trial it in the as soon as possible. For me, I'd trial it in the winter while we're getting less cars. I think it would be.
Do they expect a minimum turnover themselves?
That's what I'm assuming. That's why nobody else has responded, because we have 14 spaces with a possible 2 or 3
extra.
But so it's just not enough.
And
that's what I'm wondering, because I mean, have they just said yes because they always say yes, or have they actually considered
I don't know. Well, I've met one of their reps, came down, so they've taken it seriously.
And we had Dan Clark come down from the police the other day, and again with Cheshire East Highways, they said that they believe that they are premium car parking spaces that we should be charging by the half hour, an hour. And
that would be my recommendation, that we charge by the hour.
And actually putting it...
Can I ask Chris, what decision do you want from the council?
I don't want any decision. I start off by saying that because it's too early, because we don't know what Cheshire East will do about the rest of our parking. So I just wanted to report where we are with that.
Okay, that's what I'm not sure myself yet. That's why I'm reserving judgment.
Could I just put something forward? I mean, I'd be all for having a limit of staying there for 2 hours. Because there are no toilets.
Okay,
So why would you want to do
I
that?
think we have done a decision and we've got
No, I know, but I meant for him to put it in.
6 minutes to decide about parking. So, Jane, on the playground,
Okay.
can I have 6 minutes?
Okay.
So if you want a decision,
Oh, I won't. I know I won't be having a decision today. All I've done is I've gone to a company. I think it's been put on the Parish Council website to get an idea of how much money it is to either replace it all or to replace partially some of it or to do whatever we want to do with it, really. I knew it was going to be expensive. It's all recycled materials, Nick. I know it's a company called Copan, yeah. And I don't think that, personally, I think the swings could be, repainted or resorted. They could do something with it. We don't have to have new there, albeit I'd have new swings and new thing. But I think the quote was around about 80,000. I've not got it here in front of me.
It's broken down into pieces.
Yes, it was. So it was broken. And have you all got that?
Yeah.
Did you all have that where it's all the...
Yeah.
Yes.
So one of the reasons really why I wanted to get this really now, and I've only gone to one company, is this company have been very, very helpful, and they've just done a similar project in one of the Cheshire villages, which I've now got in contact with their parish council, and they've basically had something like 80% of the money given to them by funding, and they've given me a whole list of every single company to go to raise money. So I know that we haven't got nowhere near this amount in the budget, but I'm suggesting that I'll probably will on Ewan's thing, we'll go to another company also, but then I think I'd like to start trying to get grants to take this forward and set up a GoFundMe page as well.
okay, so you've got 2 minutes, so I do have one decision I need to make.
Yeah.
So can we agree that we'll have an annual inspection of the
Yes.
playground?
Absolutely.
I haven't got prices for it yet. They haven't come back to me.
We'll leave that
About
to the market.
£250 last time.
Was it 10 o'clock?
150.
250.
And then
I
on
remember it's between 150 to
Standing order. I've got
250.
We need to change that, don't we? I said no, we didn't.
They sent a full photograph.
calm down, I've got 3 minutes left.
Sorry.
Right, and then just the other thing is on Jane's proposal to look at different ways of funding the playground. Can we have an agreement in council that she may do that and come back and report to us?
Yeah.
Why not?
Absolutely.
Is Jane doing that or is Amanda doing that? Do you know what I mean? Is that
Shall we do it together?
Yeah.
They'll do it together.
So look at different funding schemes, so where we can apply to.
I've
We're
got a whole list of them.
not putting in applications yet, just
No.
looking to the...
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe look at
Very kindly for the list, isn't it?
Okay. So the time is 9:58. Thank you very much for your patience in allowing me to speed you along. And the meeting is now closed.
Thank you. Thank you very much, everyone.